everyone. Before I begin, I just want to get a quick survey of what everyone knows about this. Raise your hand if you've heard of Autism Speaks. Okay, disregarding the title of my presentation for a bit, how many of you think that Autism Speaks has good intentions? About probably a fifth of you. Autism Speaks has claimed to help autistic people since 2005. But is that really the case? About a few years ago, they published a commercial called I Am Autism. Here are a few quotes from that. I work very quickly. I work faster than pediatric AIDS, cancer, and diabetes combined. And if you're happily married, I will make sure that that marriage fails. I will fight to take away your hope. I will plot to rob you of your children and your dreams. I will make sure that every day when you wake up, you will cry, wondering who will care for your child when you die. For those of you who had your hands up, do you still think that Autism Speaks has good intentions? Autism Speaks has been malevolent to the autistic community since 2005 due to their lack of financial support for autistic people and their families, their fear-mongering tactics for getting donations, and the lack of representation of autistic people on their board. The best way I can explain this is with an analogy. Imagine an organization called Aliens Speak, run only by humans. They claim to support aliens, but instead they actually work to demonize them, and they often silence those who attempt to criticize them. This cycle of action is commonly seen in a lot of Autism Speaks' various speeches and presentations. There's a lot of fear-mongering used in their speeches in order to encourage donation, but very little of that donation money actually goes to helping autistic people and their families. And there have been several instances in which they have taken legal action against those who have criticized them. This chart right here is of their 2014 budget report. Only 4% of all of the money they collect goes to family services, whereas 44% goes to research for a cure that can never really exist, because autism is a developmental disorder. Here is a similar graph from their 2013 budget report. While research isn't as prominently represented, family services is even lower than it was before. If you donated $100 to Autism Speaks, only $4 would actually go to helping autistic people. If Autism Speaks is a donation service, then why isn't it donating very well? This guy right here is part of my next point. This is John Elder Robinson, one of only 2 people in Autism Speaks' history to be a part of their board. He resigned in 2013 after a speech titled Autism Speaks to Washington by the co-founder of Autism Speaks, Suzanne Wright. This is the main quote from that speech. "This is autism, life lived moment to moment, in anticipation of the child's next move, in despair, in fear of the future." Nope. Suzanne, this is autism. People like Albert Einstein, Bill Gates, Steven Spielberg, possibly Steve Jobs. People who have been some of the most successful people to grace our planet have had autism. One argument that Autism Speaks commonly uses against people who speak out against it is that they aren't autistic enough to truly understand its effects. While that may have some merit, at least we have autism to begin with to have some understanding. If they've only ever had 2 people with autism on their board, how are they supposed to have a good idea of how to support autistic people? Recently, they have made better strides because they have announced that a cure is no longer their main goal, but they still have a very, very long way to go and a decade's worth of apologizing to do. So if Autism Speaks isn't the most trustworthy service out there, what else is there? Probably the best example I can give is the Autism Self-Advocacy Network, run by autistic people for autistic people. It's 100% nonprofit, and I have full confidence in it. I don't have as much experience with these other alternatives, but Boycott Autism Speaks and the Autism Women's Network have I've been told that they've been trustworthy sources. In conclusion, Autism Speaks does not speak for me or the 3 million other people in our country with autism. Their lack of financial support for autistic people and their families, despite being a donation service, speaks to how horribly run the organization is. Because their financial support is minimal and their fear-mongering tactics are responsible for many of the stereotypes surrounding autistic people, I simply cannot support them in any way. Autism Speaks' main motto is, "It's time to listen." Maybe they should start listening to their own motto, because it's time for them to listen to the people who have been arguing about this for the past 10 years. Thank you.